What is going on, guys? Welcome to your 26th Java game development tutorial, and in this tutorial we're finally going to finish up this stupid sprite and actually watch it move around the screen. So before I get started with this tutorial, I just want to vent to you guys a little bit because I just got back from downtown Raleigh where I had an appointment, and I actually had to park my car in some weird place to make sure I got to my appointment on time because I couldn't find a parking spot. And when I came out, I forgot where I parked it because I'm not familiar with downtown Raleigh, so I had to walk around downtown Raleigh for about an hour and a half up and down every street until I found my car. And yeah, it was pretty annoying. But now that I am done venting, I will finish this tutorial. So let's go ahead and make the method update, because remember, we're getting an error up here. It says create method update. Alright, you talked me into it. Update sprite's positioning, and all this is going to do is check if the sprite is off the screen, and if it goes off the screen, it's going to put it back on the screen. Now let's go ahead and name public void update in long time passed, and we only use this time passed one time in the final update, so that's pretty cool. So now that before we start building this method, I need to tell you guys about one thing. Now whenever we have any image we're working with, the image is actually a box. It has a width and it has a height. Now there are a lot of pixels in that image, so when you're testing what part of it goes off the screen, Java only cares about the top left portion of that image. So that would be 0, 0 of the image. Since it doesn't care about the bottom right, top right, it only cares whenever we're testing if this sprite is off the screen, it only is going to look at the top left portion of the image. So that's a little thing that you want to keep in mind. So, and you'll see why this is useful later on. But what we want to test, first thing, if the sprite, well, we want to test where it is. If sprite dot get x, which means its x value is less than 0, which means if its leftmost side of the sprite is less than 0, well, 0 is the leftmost part of your screen, because remember, top left is 0, 0. So if your sprite is less than 0, its x positioning, it means it must be off to the left hand side, off your screen somewhere. So what do we want to do if it goes off your screen past 0, like a -5 or -10? That's when this would be true. But what we want to do is we want to set the speed, because here's what must have happened. If it got off the screen to your left somewhere, then when it was going from right to left, it must have just never stopped its speed or velocity and just kept going left. So we want to just change the velocity to the same exact velocity, but we want it to go left to right instead of right to left, so it stays in your viewing area. So let's go ahead and put sprite dot set velocity of x, because remember, that's what we're checking right now. And what we want to do is we want to get the absolute value, because if you remember from math class, absolute value is always positive no matter what. So the absolute value of -10 is 10, the absolute value of 9 is 9, of -32 is 32. Again, it takes any number and makes it positive. So math dot absolute value, and in your absolute value just type sprite, how fast do you want it to go. Well, just get the old velocity as before, because that was good enough. So what this pretty much does is, if your sprite went off your screen to the left hand side, it must have been going from right to left until it finally just went off into la la land. So what this does is it just changes its velocity and reverses it, so it goes back from left to right in this direction. So we need to do this for the x, and we need to do this for else if, not else is, come on Haas, else if sprite dot get x, and we need to do plus sprite dot get width. And remember, the x is the top left portion of your image, so if you have x plus the width, it would be the right corner. You get it? And let me try to explain that when we're done with this. But in other words, you're always, whenever you do get x, it says get me the top left, or excuse me, the left side of your image. So if you have the left side plus the width, it's therefore the right side. So just think about it, and I guess that's as best as I can explain it. And then what do you need to do for this? If this is greater than the screens dot get width right there, what do we want to do? So if this, the right side of your image is greater than, or we can put greater than or equal to, it doesn't really matter, the screen's width, that means if the right side of your image surpasses or goes past the right side of your screen, so therefore that part of the image is non-visible, what do we want to do? Well, we want to do the same thing. So actually we can just go ahead and copy this. We want to set its velocity, but instead of having a positive velocity, and this means left to right, it's getting bigger and bigger, we want to have a negative velocity. So negative absolute value right there. And let me see how much time I have left. 5 minutes, not bad. So this pretty much says, alright, if the left side of your images, or excuse me, if the left side of your image goes off the screen to the left, give it a positive velocity. If the right side of your image or sprite goes off the right side of your screen, then give it a negative velocity to keep it moving this way. So now all we have to do is change this for Y. So just copy this whole thing, and you need to do sprite get Y is less than 0, sprite set velocity Y, absolute value get velocity Y. Also sprite get Y, get height, because remember Y is up and down, so you're not testing for width anymore, you're testing for height of your screen. Get height and set Y and get Y. And let me make sure I didn't mess anything up, and if I did I'll correct it later. But all you need to do is this checks if it goes off the screen left and right, and this checks if it goes off the screen up and down, and if it does, it corrects it accordingly. So now the only thing we need to do is update the sprite's position using sprite.update, and remember this update sprite.update is the update in this class wherever we put it, right there. It updates the sprite position based on how much time has passed. So let's go ahead and sprite update and pass in time, and unless we forgot a Y or a height or anything, this should work. So I know you guys can't see it, but let's go ahead and run this and I'll tell you guys what's happening. Yep, my sprite is bouncing around my screen in all kinds of directions, and when it hits one of the corners of my screen, say it hit this top corner, it bounces this way, and when it hits this corner, it bounces this way, and this, or excuse me, side, I mean, not corner, it bounces like this, and as soon as it gets to the top, left, bottom, or right sides of your screen, it just bounces off. And that's because when it gets to one of those sides of the screen and one of those sides of your image exceeds the inbounds portion, it changes its velocity. So you guys need to see it, and once you see it, I mean, again, I'm sorry that you guys can't see it on my screen recorder, but that's just how it works. Once you guys see it for yourself and code this, you'll understand perfectly how this is working. But for now, I just want to thank you guys for staying subscribed, and thank you guys for watching. And make sure to check out my next tutorials where we will be going over some other cool stuff. But I am going to probably go to school and go to McDonald's and eat like 5 double cheeseburgers. So thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.